Guys, do I look like the Walmart version of Austin from Austin and Ally? My coworker said I look like the Walmart version of Austin from Austin and Ally. What the fuck? Is that even a compliment? Austin is hot. The Walmart version of Austin is implying that I'm an unhot version of that motherfucker. That's rude. Anyways, it's quad focus leg day, and you know what that means? That means that it's I think it's technically my shortest day, but I get to have focus hamstrings, which is fire, and my back isn't hurting, so my RDLs are gonna be goated. And I get to focus abs, and I'm not doing leg raises because fuck you. I got confirmation from a super jacked dude that doing weighted ab crunches is fine. So you bet your bitch ass I'm doing weighted ab crunches, motherfucker. I had the same coworker who called me Austin, Walmart Austin, asked me about like bodybuilding and shit and like what my goal is. Like, is there an end result? And I'm like, not really an end result. I kind of just want to get as big as, I just want to get as big as possible. I didn't really know what to say. My only thought in my head was like, I don't know, is there an end? I kind of just keep going until my heart fails. Like all the rest of the bodybuilders. Like immense amount of drugs until my heart is like, we're done. And then I either lose a leg or I die. Goals, right? Yeah, fuck yeah. Anyways, let's get it. I need work to stop keeping me late. I've planned this because work is fucking me recently. So what I do is I'm like eating a bunch of my food before work so that I don't have to like eat a bunch of my food after. Even though I do want to eat my food after, I have to like go to bed, you know, so I can like do other shit within my day, because I need at least 8 hours for one, rest and recovery, and two, for like proper weigh-in shit. I can't start my day until I have at least 8 hours of digestion. So my last meal has to be 8 hours before I weigh myself again. That's just how it works. So it's like work keeps fucking me by keeping me here mad late, even though they're not supposed to, because they're really hyper focused on labor, except when it comes to me. For some reason, they're like cutting people who were here after me. It's a whole thing. If you're a server, you know they're pulling some bullshit server manager nonsense. Anyways, it makes it hard because you can't eat while at work. Although I don't need to eat while I'm at work yet, but when I start getting into like the higher and higher calories, I can't be having you guys fucking my shit up. All right, I need a specific schedule, damn it, and my job is like the least specific schedule of all time. So that might be an issue in the future, but that's future me's problem.
You'll have to get jobs. You know, employment.
So this coworker that I was discussing my goals with when she was asking me what I wanted, basically, she's a cheerleader and she's also fit and she also works out, but she's one of the people who are like, who they say they don't want to get too bulky. And I'm not no female anatomy expert or like muscle science expert, but in my opinion, I don't even think it's physically possible for a woman to get too bulky naturally. If you're enhanced, abso-fucking-lutely. You have androgen receptors in your traps, delts, and quads that'll just absolutely blow up, and people will look at you and be like, what happened? Because you're just fucking walking around like this. I think the androgen receptors in women's traps are fucking insane, apparently. But if you say natural, we're not gonna talk about the genetic freaks and like the 1%ers, you know what I'm talking about? There's definitely exceptions. There's always gonna be exceptions. We're talking about the standard. So for standard women, is it even physically possible to get too bulky? You're gonna have to really, really, really try naturally to get too bulky. Guys are having a hard time getting too bulky, you know what I'm saying? So get rid of your testosterone and then now try getting too bulky. But hey, you know, maybe it's cured for women, who knows? You can get like muscle definition, you know what I'm talking about? And I think that shit is hot. But I see what you mean. I see what women mean. A lot of them just don't want dude muscle, you know? And then some of them do, and I think the people who do are badass. There's a woman here with bigger arms than me. She's an IFBB pro and she's cool looking. I love watching her work out. Yeah, I'm a stalker, fuck you. I'm not a stalker, I'm not a creeper either. I just think it's cool that she'd be moving weight like manly weight, you know? Whatever, anyways. This one's gotta be working, man. My hamstrings are so activated. Nope. It's just awkward. It's such an awkward movement. And then when I watch the video back, I look goofy, right? I look a little silly doing it, but it's hitting good, man. If you have something similar to this and you try it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Assuming you can set it up right. Most of the time I'm fiddling with it for like 10 minutes. So here's a little neat psychological thing that I do to myself that I totally forgot about while I was cutting. So when I was cutting, I was completely void of all emotion other than just, you know, that's how I felt. I just felt, but like I I didn't really feel anything. I was too tired to feel anything, which sounds weird to say it out loud, but it's very true. I was too exhausted and too busy worrying about, you know, cardio and how my legs didn't work and how everything hurt, stuff like that. Anyways, sounds like anyways, what my brain will do, it will like self-sabotage in my head. I'll sabotage myself to also boost my own motivation. Does that make sense? So I will talk down on myself in order to have like this feeling of comfort. So you know how sad people listen to sad music to be more sad, and it's a spiral? It's similar to that situation. I do that same shit. So whenever I'm in like a weird sort of low mentally, like period, like I don't know why I do this, but whenever I'm at a low, I try to like push it further down. I try to like make it worse by every means necessary. So like I'm already kind of in the dumps. So my thoughts are like jabbing at me in every single way possible, whether it's true or not. And then on top of that, I'll also try to listen to like sadder music, but it's literally just to like boost my motivation. So you'd think it would be like a positive. And that's how I thought for the longest time until recently, whenever I'm trying to figure out like sports psychology and philosophy and all that shit, trying to figure out why I think and how I think and what XYZ means and why I do that to myself. So I'm thinking outwardly, and then when I think outwardly, it gets rid of that whole me pushing down my spiral to try to make it worse, to motivate me even more. Isn't that so weird? Isn't that really weird how that works? I know I'm not the only one, because a huge part of the gym is like, you fucking suck, get another rep, you know? So I know a lot of people are like that. I know a lot of people think like that. I don't think it's optimal at all, because when it goes away, you just kind of feel like, you know? Because it will go away, it always does. You can't feel like shit, always. Eventually you're gonna be happy, whether you like it or not. So that kind of gets rid of that spiral, so it fucks you up. That's what happened to me in the past. And I was spiraling the other day. I make it sound dramatic. I'm trying not to be dramatic. I'm trying to just express like what happens in my brain. So I was spiraling, and then I was trying to push it down further, like I always do, by listening to, you know, like different artists and shit to help me spiral, so that my inner thoughts help me get like more reps. Because there is a comfort in the whole sadness thing, which is so weird. I don't know why our brains are like that. I don't think it's just me. I think it's everybody, I think. How strange. But then I outwardly thought, hey, I'm doing this. Wait, why am I doing this? And then me thinking, why am I doing this? Completely got rid of the momentum of whatever I was feeling in the moment, which I'm okay with. I don't really want to feel like that, honestly, because that's not really me, I think. Plus it makes it harder to like record videos. Good luck recording a video when you're all fucking sad and shit. Ugh. Psychology is so strange. Is that emotional intelligence? Am I emotionally intelligent as fuck? I totally didn't think like that in the past. And this cut kind of forced me to think more deeply and more inward on like my emotions, because I hated being mad. So I didn't want to be mad. So I looked into how not to be mad. And that's how this whole like psychology interest started. And I think that helped me a lot with not being pissed off and losing my shit at like work and stuff while I was cutting. But now that I'm more okay, you know, I have less of an interest in psychology because I'm not feeling like shit all the time. So I don't have to constantly tell myself, hey, you're getting angry for no reason again, you know? Although I do still get angry for no reason sometimes, even when I do have calories, AKA fucking traffic. Why are you driving slow? The speed limit is 65. You have to go at least 65. Traffic doesn't exist. People are idiots, and it doesn't make sense. How does traffic exist? Get rid of the human right to drive. Make everything like self-driving, and then just completely get rid of the human right to drive, and everything will be so much smoother. Don't you agree? If everyone is forced to, you know, like drive the same speed, and there's no free will on the road anymore, the safety is like 10x what it used to be, right? Human error is going to be a lot more common than computer error. And then with that being said, eventually the speed limits are going to go to like 80 or 90 because everything is so smooth. Just saying. Call me Dr. Vegapunk, dude. The way I be thinking about the technology and advancement and shit. Big hamstrings, baby. I forgot to count. Son of a bitch. Goddamn. What was that, like 30? So I have a theory. If I was to watch anime dubbed, but with Japanese captions, could that theory, and I watched it purely to study the language, not to watch the anime, right? Would that allow me to like connect the dots if I really tried to like hyper focus on each word, meaning each thing, sentence by sentence? My only concern is a lot of the time the captions differ from like the actual, like what they're actually saying. A lot of the time, the dub seems to be quite different from like the sub captions. Is that the best choice of action? I was reading children's Japanese books, but I would just end up reading but not understanding or comprehending because there was no English translation. So I was basically, you know, saying and pronouncing the words but not understanding what was going on. With like brief context, sort of. Or would it be better to try to memorize as much kanji as possible so that I can read both hiragana and kanji before I comprehend anything? Do I need to read first before I comprehend, or do I comprehend before I read? Times the alphabet by 3 and, you know, do that 3 times. Fuck, Japanese is hard. But I'd love to be fluent. I'd love to be fluent in another language. That'd be so cool. I don't know why I chose one of the hardest ones, but I don't want to learn Spanish. That shit's lame. Everyone knows Spanish. Being fluent in Spanish isn't a flex. Being fluent in Japanese brings my otaku level to a whole nother degree. But there's a lot of people who know how to speak Japanese who don't watch anime subbed with no captions. They can't, for some reason. I don't know why that is. I hope that's not gonna be the case for me. That's the goal though, is to be able to watch anime subbed, no captions, and completely comprehend it. That's the goal. That would be epic. And then I could go to Japan, find me a epic Japanese baddie, and then we can have mixed babies, and those babies become idol pop stars. Perfect, best life. So tomorrow is Monday, which is completion of week 1 of the bulk, which is cool because then I have a base number. That's what we wanted. My impatient ass just needed a base number. So I'm gonna combine all of my numbers and then divide it by 7, and that's gonna get my average weight for the week. And then from there on, we're gonna do as consistent as possible with my weigh-ins so I don't skewer my weight as much as possible, right? Obviously it's gonna fluctuate a little bit, but we wanna reduce that to the minimum. So I'm gonna get my average, and then I'm gonna do my weigh-ins, and if we're shooting for 0.5 above my average, so let's say my average is 200 flat. We want 0.5. So if I weigh in at 201, I might drop a rice cake, you know? And we're just gonna try to hit 200.5. And then from that next week, we're gonna go 201, and then 201.5. That's the type of consistency I'm looking for here. And hopefully, we want linear progress, right? We want it to just go up. So hopefully with being that precise and that consistent with my macros, that'll allow me for the next 9 months to just continuously progress. Because that's what we need here. We're not trying to dilly-dally and waste our fucking time, okay? I'm not here to dick around. I'm here to get big as fuck. I only have 9 months. If you think about it, 9 months isn't really that long to put on a lot of size, considering it takes fucking decades for people to put on a good physique. 9 months is enough time to have a noticeable difference, assuming that you're actually trying your best. To be fair, one of my meals is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I think my macros are good everywhere else, so it's just kind of a calorie, honestly. We'll see, I'm not perfect, right? So if my macros are super fucked up and then I find out in the future, like, yeah, you have to eat nothing but fucking lean meats and vegetables if you want to gain any muscle, but if you don't eat lean meats and vegetables, you're just gonna get fat, no matter how many calories you're eating. It could be that. I don't think it is. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, but God, my hamstrings are so fucking fried. Damn. If I can get to 218 in 9 months, assuming that my average this week is 200 and I have 9 months from here on out, 218 at the same body fat, if not a little bit fatter, but relatively the same body fat I am now, that's gonna be a big difference. Because then I'm cutting from 218 and my that's over 20 pounds more weight than I was last bulk. So that's gonna be a massive difference. And I'm pretty sure I was a fatter 195 than I am right now at 198. So that's really, really good. Yesterday, I saw a woman on this machine, and I usually do the other one with the hands up, and I go over here, you know, and crunch down. But then I was thinking, wait, this one would hit so much better, because you could just crunch down. It's very similar to like the rope crunches that I used to do, except now you don't have to deal with, you know, the cable and then having your arms fixed in the same spot. So you're kind of like frying your arms a little bit if you go too long. Holy shit. So then I tried it. I did my first set already. God damn. Shit is fire. Thank you, random lady from yesterday. I appreciate it. Although, my foot placement's a little weird. I feel like I'm a little too tall for this. And I can't go back far enough, like there's not at the maximum range of motion that it allows, and it stops right here. I would like to go way back here to get that core stretch, but other than that, it's pretty solid. It's almost like pulse reps. Actually, I think I would benefit from a little bit lower. Yeah, there we go. I'm doing this, so hopefully that when I'm lean, it'll show even better. Nope. Okay, let's do a little ab update. I can feel the fluff. Maybe I shouldn't. I made a video where I was posing at this exact same spot and a dude commented, biggest douchebag in cult fitness. I don't know about biggest, all right? I'm definitely, absolutely top 5, but I wouldn't take the #1 spot. I don't think I deserve it that much. Whew. Anyways, okay, week 1 bulk. This is what we're sitting at for like ab quality, kind of give you a representation of my body fat. So here's me relaxed. You can kind of still see some, you know, like I definitely got a stomach now, but you can still see some sort of separation. And then here's the core. Still got all the packs. Not as lean of the packs, but I still got all of them, which is important. That kind of gives us a representation that I may be 200, but I'm not a fat piece of shit, so it's not a completely wasted 200. A lot of it's glycogen, which is fine. Glycogen is goated. Could be water. My ankles are turning into cankles. They were cankles for a little bit where I could like put my fingers in and it would leave a dent, but we're chilling now. So we're still doing good body fat percentage wise. I would say 10, 11, 12, something like that. Yeah, maybe like 11-ish % body fat, roughly. I don't know, my gauge for this shit is terrible, but lean enough to where it's like an optimal amount of bulking. I think like 8% is technically the like as low of a body fat percentage. So if I really wanted to like be like super perfect, I probably could have chilled out a little bit on the relapse right after my show, but where I am now is completely fine in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to the future. You guys will get an update because I have back in buys tomorrow. So you guys will get an update of my overall and then like my plan for my meal plan. And I'll give it like a breakdown and shit like that. But in the meantime, I got Japanese and cardio, so fuck yeah.